What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Scalp Solutions podcast. I am your host, David Santiago, and today I got with me the good gentlemen, Victor Ibarra and Efren Gutierrez. What's up, my fellas?
What's going on? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys taking out some time from your busy schedule to jump on the podcast, chop it up. Maybe we could get some gems out of you a little later, but I appreciate you.
Thank you for having us. This means a lot.
Of course.
Appreciate your time too, man.
Of course, man. Thank you again. So let's get this started, man. Let the audience know the name and location of your clinic or studio, whatever you refer to it as.
Okay, so I'm Victor. I'm located in North Carolina. My clinic is located in Greensboro, Burlington area, and it's called Scalp Micro-Pro Clinic.
Scalp Micro-Pro. So you and Efren are located. Are you guys both down south, or you guys have like a sub?
I'm on the west. I'm on the west. He's on the east coast.
Oh, look at that. I thought you guys were
Surprise, right?
You guys are slowly, let me tell you, you guys are slowly creeping up, because word on the streets where you were in the New York area doing fundamentals training, man.
That's funny.
you down south. Listen, man, we have a policy here in New York, man. You guys are supposed to ask for permission before you. Nah, man, that's love. I actually love to see that. You know, you guys are down south making your ways up. Listen, you enhancing, improving the industry, putting some good artists out there. You know, I say that jokingly. I respect it, man. So check this out. Let's get with you, Efren, first, man. How did you get into the industry?
All right, so let me introduce myself. I'm Efren Gutierrez. I'm actually out here in the East Coast. I'm sorry, take that back, West Coast. Out here in Rancho Cucamonga, California. And my shop here is Evolution 360 SMP. And
when my bad, brother. How was it that you got into the industry, into the SMP industry?
So actually, I got my SMP done. Well, was it 2016?
Okay.
And it's been a while already. So when I got my SMP done, you know, it's a process. So I got my first session in. I was still kind of like, you know, trying to figure out what it was, what I was doing. And then once I got it done, I actually seen, you know, after the second session, I seen a big change. And it actually really changed my life, like looking at the way now when I would just take a razor or just a shaver, just take it down, I would see, you know, how it would look a lot better. And me having that feeling was like, kind of like, okay, you know what, this is something I can do, you know, coming from a barbering background. And it took me a while, right? So it was about good 2 years, you know, just kind of pushing you know, telling the artist, hey, I need some training. I need to do this, you know, like this is what I want to do. And at that time, he was in training, and he was like, man, you know, I can't, you know, I'm not doing it. I don't do training. So after a while, you know, I was being persistent.
He was being selfish, huh? He didn't want to give you the tools.
He was cool, man. And after you know, after those 2 years just pushing in with David, and after David Hopper, he actually he was like, you know what? All right, come on, let's go ahead and let's do this. And so, you know, I picked up the machine, did some training with him. And after that, it was a wrap.
Game over. So you trained with David Hoffa. Nice. I'm gonna hit him up. I'm like, yo, why you were giving my boys a hard time, man? You don't want to pass down the torch, man. That's dope, man. How about you, Victor? Do you also come from a barbering background?
Yes. So I started cutting hair when I was 18 years old. And so from there, like I was actually starting losing my hair at the time while I was going to barber school. So it's like I'm over here enhancing people's with a haircut, but I'm myself losing my hair. So it's like it was some devastated years, man. So I found out about SMP through Instagram. I saw a company in New York. I think it was Euro Hair Inc. They were booming back in the day. Whenever I saw, like, that was one of the main companies I saw back then. And so I just kept on seeing it on my Instagram. And it took me about 6 months to actually pull the trigger. So I did my research and I found some companies. So I found Scalpco, and I saw a company in they had a branch in Colombia, So I decided to travel down there. But before that, like I was on my YouTube trying to like, learn
Find out who I'm
myself how to
going
do SMP and stuff.
You said
I took YouTube University before I decided to travel.
to. Yo,
So
that's such a barbering thing to do. We're so conditioned to just like looking at a YouTube video and like, I got this.
so yeah, I pulled the trigger. I went to Colombia and I got my training. And then I came back and I felt like I needed more training. I felt like it wasn't enough. So I kept on, practicing. And then after that, I decided to go to Canada with Masood.
Ah, my man.
So Masood, actually, I didn't take a training with him. He actually did my SMP.
Oh, he did it for you. Okay, got you.
So it was kind of like he hooked me up because we had a little meeting. We sat down at a table. We're actually eating pizza and drinking beer. And he goes, look, this is the way how I do it. So he just pretty much placed everything for me. And then I came back home and I kept on practicing his technique. I was there watching while I was getting my SMP. And next thing you know, he texted me and he was like, bro, you're a quick learner. Like, how the heck did you understand how to do this stuff and this and that? I was like, man, I just picked it up from there. It was a blessing. So I mean, from that point, I've just been doing SMP and like trying to change the industry as far as just be able to create natural hairlines, semi-defined hairlines, defined hairlines. And yeah, so I mean, I've been doing it for a good while now.
Got you. So how many years in total have you been doing SMP, Victor? And how about you, Efren? So Victor first.
Closer to 5 years now.
Got you. And then Efren?
A little bit over 4 years.
A little over 4 years. So how has it been for the two of you, like coming up, within those 5 years, man? Like what has it been a struggle for you? I mean, obviously in the beginning, I know you said that you were able to grasp the technique quickly, but the whole business structure of things and actually getting people into the chair, how has that been for you within these 5 years?
So for me, and I actually decided to open up a barbershop at the same time I started doing SMP. So I was doing both at the same time. And it was a struggle because I had to focus on the barbershop and I also had to focus on SMP. So it took me a good 2 years before I actually opened up my clinic, like, professionally to the public. I was doing SMP here and there, and I actually just collaborated with the shelter. So I was doing SMP for free at a home shelter for the homeless. And that's how I started getting my portfolio in. I started getting people, interested. I would go and while they were actually eating, I would actually sit down with them and talk about SMP. And I would get females, I would get males coming in and I would just do them for free. I would go pick them up, and if they didn't have any dinner or any lunch, I would go buy lunch from them and I would bring them to my studio and I would just practice. And then, a really good friend of mine from Miami, I would also like do video calls. Like he would actually have me to set my phone and my melons, and he was just looking at my impressions. Like that's how I was doing it back in the day. And until I picked up on it, and it's been a blessing. I mean, being able to get clients from the barbershop was also a blessing, but at the same time, it was like I was the first one in my area. There was only like one other company, which is Scalp, and myself. It wasn't really nobody else. And for people to look at SMP, a lot of them were really skeptical about it, and most of them they say, "Oh no, I kind of don't want to get it done." But there was a few that really trusted me, so I was able to get some clients then. And yeah, that's to pretty much build up my clientele base by doing free SMP for the homeless.
Awesome, man. I love that. I appreciate that too, because for the most part, I mean, I get a lot of new to moderately seasoned artists that listen to the podcast, and they're always asking, how do you build your portfolio? What did you do? And I mean, I know you did it without even noticing, but like, that's kind of a gem, man. Like you went to the local shelter and you were like, yo, this is what I do. Anybody need it? And you was also in exchange. You was giving them food, right? Like you was taking care of them. Like it was a wholesome exchange. All right, well, there you guys go. Victor just dropped the gem for you guys. You know what? It's funny because I guarantee you somebody will hear that and they'll be like, nah, I don't know. That's a little scary. But I think as barbers, like that's just what we do. Like, I remember when I was coming up as a barber, like I was like, y'all cut any and everybody's hair for free. So I would go to the church So, you know, the church, when people come and get the free food, is just like, all right, I understand these people, you know, having a hard time. They don't got no money. Hey, I'll give you a haircut too. You know what I mean? So I get you. Good, dope. That's dope. I appreciate that. How about you, Efren, man? What was your come up like, bro?
So my come up was a little bit, you know, a little bit rocky, but I actually started, I was doing I was working full time, and I was doing SMP on the side, just part time. I actually was working like 12-hour shifts. And then after a while, I just kind of started leaning more towards SMP. I started doing it more like with family, friends. You know, I would probably set up in the living room and I would just cover the whole, like just block everything around. I'll put a projector behind me. I'll set up, you know, just to cover everything around me, make it look like, you know, legit. So if anybody sees me doing SMP, they're like, okay, it looks like a little office in there.
But for Instagram, make sure you don't get called out.
Yeah, little did they know. I mean, everybody starts somewhere, right? So little did they know. I mean, it probably did like 3-4 clients, and after that, I looked for a little shop to do it. In the meantime, and so after a while, I just kind of like, you know, I actually flew out to Florida, took a master class with Mark Allen, and
you met Mark Allen in Florida?
Yeah, so I met him there. Yeah, and I was there, and there was a couple other guys there too.
Because you went for the show that John
actually
through, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I actually went on a separate time. I went again out there.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was I want to say it was Fernando was there, Wilson, a couple other artists, and I was like, hey, you know what? This is like a little meeting in itself. You know, a bunch of artists that are, you know, really hungry. So I went out there, and pretty much it was a master class, but at the same time I was able to collaborate and see what, you know, what they were doing, what was working. And to me, that was like a big push. So I came back, and that's when I just jumped into gear, quit my full-time job, and, you know, I had the support. So I actually went full-time and doing SMP. I just started marketing it, finding people, more people to do it. And doing that was what took me to the next level. You know, spending that flight, taking the time to go over there, talk to other artists, and
yeah, man, that's good, man. Shit, you got like 3-4 good freaking top SMP artists giving you some free games. Must be nice. So check this out. I want to bring something back, because offline we were talking yesterday, me and you, Efren, and then of course Victor, you can chime in as well too. We were talking about the importance of having a good canvas, and I kind of want to bring it up now abruptly because I don't want to forget about it, because it's important, right? So we were talking about working on a good canvas, and like, can you tell us what it is that, or how do you instruct your clients what to do before they come in for a session of SMP, whether it be their first session, second or third session?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I make sure that when they do book, you know, to come in for the first session, I send them a nice little list of things to do before they come in. So it'll say, you know, make sure you scrub your scalp, make sure you moisturize in a few days in advance. Start moisturizing the scalp daily. You know, get some good sleep. Make sure that they don't, you know, getting sunburn. So when they come in here to the shop, it's like clean canvas. There's no dead skin. There's no, ready to go. I don't want to see no sunburn or no, you know, irritated skin or any of that.
Yeah. So make sure they drink water too. That's a big one, to hydrate their skin.
Hydrated. So what do you guys do? Do you guys have like a remedial action? And remedial action, this is me throwing in military stuff. Remedial action is like, oh shit, we got something. What do we do to get it fixed? So the client comes in, because, you know, sometimes the clients can be pretty, they could be stubborn, or they just are like, they don't even read the email. What happens when you have a client that comes in and he's got the dry scalp? Like, do you have oh, this is what we could do? Because I know you guys got some products.
Yeah, for sure. I'll sit down with them and make sure that, you know, I tell them, like, give them a hard time first of all. Make sure I tell them, like, hey, this is what you did.
Here's what you did. I gotta charge you an extra $500. Yeah.
I'm like, look, you have to take one of these bottles here, you know, take it home with you before, and come back the next following week. I'm just kidding. No, we actually just tell them that, you know, just kind of educate them on what they need to do, and, you know, how it's going to affect, how it might affect the results. In case, say, we do a session, and it, you know, when they come back, they see like most of it gone, then they know, you know, the reasons why.
But usually what we do too, like when they come in for the first session and we see dry scalp, we actually do a scalp treatment before starting. So we shampoo, condition, and we also do an exfoliate on the scalp. I have a big machine that I purchased. It's kind of like a what is it called? The what was it called? The steamer. There you go. yeah, I have the steamer, and it's a very relaxing service as well. And so and then I put the moisturizer and I let it sit for like 30 minutes.
Got you. So listen, we're about to take the audience for a ride, right? This is we're gonna do some awesome things right now. So you said a steamer. Now, is it a steamer, a traditional steamer that we would use for a hot towel shave? Or
No,
is it the steamer that the jewelers use to steam the
it's actually a dental medical equipment.
what is it called?
It's a dental medical equipment.
Oh,
That's where you can get it. That I everything. So my vision and what I'm uh, approaching in my business is more medical, into the medical field. Everything that I purchased, from the chair, from everything, is medical.
got you.
So whenever I saw that steamer, I was like, hey, this is something good that I need to do to be able to do this treatments before, for especially for oily scalp and dry scalp as well.
Nice. You know what's dope, bro? Like I always see I feel like, and you know what, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but you know what, that's the purpose of the podcast, man. Bring dope artists on, and I like it to be a you know, lift up the skirt interview, because we, you know, we can give a little bit of sauce away, right? You guys cool with that?
Yeah, we could go.
Yeah, no problem.
Check this out, right? I was thinking the other day when I was telling my videographer, and I was like, yo, no one has videos of what they do to prep the scalp. Like, no one talks about that. No one talks about that. So here's what we're gonna do. I know one time, you know, me and Efren, we jumped on a call, and me, him, and the good guys over at Top Line SMP was like, yo, we should do a video, we should do a skit together. I think you should put one together. I'll put one together, and let's just put it out. Let's put it out there for the industry to see, like, yo, this is what you could do if your client comes in and he's got dry scalp. Because I don't think a lot of people know that there's a service you can offer. You could upsell for one, you could upsell it, and it's incredibly therapeutic for the client as well, because you're already relaxing them once you do it. But you don't have to necessarily send them home. Because I've been reading, like, some people, like, they'll send them home. And if I was a client, especially if I'm driving far away and they send me home, I'm like, yo, I'm not coming back. I'm going to find someone else.
Yeah, I had the same issue this weekend. So I have another location that I work out of in Washington, D.C., and I had a guy that drove from New York, and I drove from North Carolina. So it was like a full way for me, a full way from him. And he came with dry scalp. It was his second session. And so I did that. Luckily, the clinic that I worked with, they had a medical shampoo that was really good, and I scraped the whole thing. So now, I mean, of course, because of SMP, it's gonna give you a little bit of dryness in the meantime for the third session. So what I actually just have him to wait a couple of days for the procedure to heal, and then have him to go gently and still scrub the scalp. That way you can take some of the dryness out. Yeah, so yeah, I had this issue happening.
Yeah, and you can't really scrub, you know, like when they come in like that and they have a lot of, like, let's say, a lot of dead skin, you can't really take a towel and just scrub it off. It's got to be, if you know how to, you know, pretty much moisturize it, hydrate it, you're able to, like, help the client that same day. So I have clients too that come in like that. They haven't, maybe, like, they took a week, maybe even 2 weeks, and their scalp still looks like there's still, like, a bunch of dead skin in there. The SMP still, like, peeling off, and you know for sure that they haven't even washed their scalp or scrubbed it, because they're afraid that it might come off.
Right? Yeah, that the SMP is gonna peel off.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, that's just to take me an extra hour just to take all that off. But you can't just, like, rub it off. You gotta, you know, moisturize it, hydrate it.
Yeah, some TLC goes into it. So, Efren, I don't know if you remember yesterday when we were talking, I told you I had, like, a post scheduled to show a picture of a needle with a piece of, you know, dry scalp inside of it.
I've seen that.
Bro, I had so many messages yesterday, and they were like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing to remove it? What do you do to get it off? And I just lost my train of thought. What was the whole purpose of me? Oh, the purpose was because you were talking about you can't wipe it off. Bro, I legit had an artist hit me up, and he was like, bro, would you ever consider using, and I forgot what was the grit. Let me open up my Instagram right now.
Yeah,
But would
the
you
talk,
ever
the talk.
consider
I think the talk was
using 1,000 grit sandpaper to pass it on the, so you know, I write back to him. I was like, bro, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, you know, I was considering this. I was like, bro, you don't use sandpaper on someone's, yo, bro, I'm not BSing. You don't use
Oh
sandpaper.
my God.
Yeah, so I told him, you know, there's tools, there's different protocols you can do to get that canvas fresh the way that you want it. So I think it's dope that you guys offer that service, and I think we got to collab. Let's collab on that. Let's bring it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's educate the industry real quick on something nice. We'll talk a little more.
That's a higher
Yeah.
ticket too. You can charge an extra 100,
Easy.
$120 easy just for that.
And they understand that they need it in order for their procedure to look good. So they're not gonna say, nah, I'm not doing that. They're gonna, right? We're identifying the discrepancy, and it's like, listen, well, now this is what we got to do. We got to get it done. All right.
But
dope.
always, you know, let them know in the consultation period. That way they don't feel that you actually just coming up with a new service just because you want to make extra money.
Got you. Upsell. So you say during the consultation, let them know, listen, if you don't practice proper pre or whatever post care, this is what's going to end up happening. You're going to have to pay an additional whatever $150 for.
Right.
What do you refer to it as? I call it a scalp detox because it sounds nice.
Yeah.
Maybe like a scalp treatment. But
scalp treatment.
But even then, it was funny because I was trying to give Santiago like a little tip, like, hey brother, you know, you probably do this. He's like, look, Efren, I already have something scheduled for that time. I was like, really? And the next thing you know, half an hour later, it just popped up. Like, okay.
Yeah. We would
make that up.
We were talking. He was dropping. We were talking about you know, the dry scalp and the dandruff, and I was like, bro, it's coincidental that you bring this up because I schedule my post now. Like I can't keep track of it, so I got like that schedule, and I was like, at 5:30, you're gonna see I got a post with the needle. So I thought it was important to talk about that because not too many people give out like the remedies on how to, actually they do in some of the forums, but you get so much mixed things. But I know what I'm doing works for me. Obviously what you guys are doing is working for you. Cool, man.
But that post is big. That post is big. It goes in different directions. Like you can go from, should I use 20 needles or it can be, or how is it going to come back healed, right? There's like two different things.
Yeah.
So
No,
if you prep the skin,
it can go anywhere because even, you know, David Hoffa, going back to, you know, the good man David Hoffa, he spoke about taking the needle and putting it into the water to clean it out. And I didn't go with that direction because I've had people ask me like, yo, why you keep a little cup of water? And I rinse my needle out like, you know, every half an hour, you know, like it's common practice for me. And the reason I do that is because I got a lot of friends that are tattoo artists and they've explained to me, you know, why they do it. So I'm kind of like, well, S&P, regardless of what people say, like it's a tattoo. So maybe, you know, these guys have been doing this for years. It's just a different formality. So like, that's what I do. But I just wanted to show the needle. And, you know, David Hoffa brought it up and he was like, or you could just take the needle and it'll wash out. And it's true. It could wash out because it moistens it up and it's easy for it to come off. But I've had some that really wedge deep and you just gotta throw the needle out and start with a new one.
Yeah.
Right.
And as a newbie, if you don't know any better, right? When you're only buying one box at a time, you know, you could easily waste 3, 4, 5 needles on one client and then blame it on the manufacturer when the reality of it is it's just you didn't have a properly prepped scalp. See, I think we could make a whole podcast. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Let's move it along because we're here to highlight you guys, man. So now, do you guys see yourself, Victor, do you see yourself still in the industry 5 years from now?
Oh, absolutely. I just recently purchased a property, commercial property. In my area.
So you taking a whole building now and you dedicating it straight up to S&P?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm assuming you got what training coming out of there. You're gonna start manufacturing your products. Then you're gonna come up to New York, take me out of business. What you cooking, bro?
He's like, let me get you guys on the podcast real quick.
Okay, so during COVID, I purchased 2 commercial buildings. I purchased one that is closer to my hometown where I live, and that's where I have all my product lined up. I'll have everything as far as distribution and all that. And then I have my other building which I'm gonna do an academy alongside SMP, and
Nice.
I'm gonna collaborate with people. I'm gonna bring Efren to my location, and I'm also gonna be hiring SMP artists as well.
Nice. Awesome. Outstanding.
I'm
How
gonna
about
just
you,
say for
Efren?
myself, I'm gonna actually be investing in, for the next 5 years, all the way, SMP all the way. And then also, so I actually relocated. I was out in closer to Orange County, like Riverside. And now I'm actually here in Rancho Cucamonga area, so a little bit more on the north side. And I'm pretty much just investing myself into SMP, PMU. So I'm actually, be traveling hopefully all over the world.
So y'all both in, y'all in for the long haul.
It's more expensive out here in California to try to buy a building, so it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't want that overhead.
Cali's a whole other world, bro. Like, God bless California, man. That's
I'm just like, beautiful weather, but I just can't. When it comes to buying a building here, it's not gonna work that way. It's gotta
you guys got your own president, your own Jesus Christ, your own everything. So check this out. Talk to me about, because we all know what's happened. So I'm putting you guys in the spot. This is a new question I added to the mix, all right? Because we talk about all of our successes, but we don't talk about some common struggles when we come up. So I want to talk to me about the worst SMP procedure you performed and what did you gain out of it?
So
like, what was the experience out of it? Have you, all right, I'm a super transparent question. Have any of you guys ever botched a client, even when you first
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody does.
All right. So what did you learn from botching, from that first client that came back, whether it was the first session or the second session, and you was like, oh my goodness?
So I'll take on that one before Victor takes over. It'll be a long story. So actually, I went on and I got a client come in. I did his SMP, and I remember that time I wasn't writing nothing down. I was just I just started, and I went pretty dark on the SMP. And so when he came back, I was like, whoa, this doesn't look like, it looks nothing like, that's what SMP should look. And then after that, I was like, this is a challenge. So I have to make sure that I make it right. So when he came back again, I was like, look, it looks this way because it has to get some more blending. Luckily, I was able to space everything out. I spaced out everything. So the next one he came in, I actually went way like half lower on the pigment. And I was able to kind of blend it out a bit. And so when he came in next time, you can still see the dark of it. So then I was okay, cool. I had my head more steady. I was able to do another session. I actually did 4 sessions on them to be able to blend everything out and not be able to see the dark spots. Gotcha. And after that, I was like, okay, cool. I messed up already, but I know how to fix it. But ever since then, I write everything down: needle size, pigment ratio, any little small notes. Like how doctors take notes. Like, okay, client came in, hungover, whatever. I mean, you just write everything down.
So because of that experience, what you learned was to be a little more structured, right? Write down the needles, everything. Gotcha.
Needle size, pigment. Even if you apply light pressure, medium pressure, if you're sweating a lot, just any little thing like that adds, to that way that we can find out what you work on.
All right, dope. How about you, Victor? Let's hear that. Let's hear that war story.
All right, go ahead. Let's do it.
Well, it wasn't really, it's not really wild to me. It was so this is what I did. So I went I did the SMP and I went too deep all throughout the scalp. I used a size 10 needle.
Okay.
All throughout the scalp.
It's probably like 4 years ago, right? For the four years ago, that's when like the number 10 was like, this is the needle, this is it.
So what really saved me was the fact that I went light on the pigment. So when it healed back, it healed like you can still see like the bigger impressions, but it like whenever it was fresh, I took a picture. I actually posted it on Team Micro.
Okay.
Look, I got like people were on
destroyed.
Me. Hey, whenever you post something right now on Team Micro, you only get 20 likes. Now,
right.
You don't get more than it got like 300 likes, and not likes, but the
impressions. You got the impressions, yeah.
You got the impressions, and I had a whole bunch of comments like, "Oh, he needs a bot, he needs a laser removal, he needs all that." Like, I'm talking about bigger companies, brother. Like, I don't want to mention names because
right.
I'm not the type of person, but I'm talking about bigger companies, bro. Nobody hit me up, not even my trainer, nobody, brother.
There it
Yes,
goes.
sir.
and they ghosted me. Everybody ghosted me. There was only one person that reached out to me, which is my good friend from Miami, which he doesn't do SMP right now. But he was the only one that reached out to me. I was down. I was getting ready to quit. I was like, forget this, I'm out. And so whenever he came back, actually, my friend, he actually helped me to kind of fix it. So I went with a smaller size and I went a little bit darker. So I blended in really nice. But yeah, what really saved me was the fact that I went really light. And back then I was using 5 p.m. shadow. So 5 p.m. shadow is a pigment that's really, really, really conservative.
Right.
So that's what really saved me.
Because if you would have using something, more dense.
Yeah, if I would have been using another pigment, man, I probably would have. It would have been really, really botched. That I would have sent him to a laser clinic.
Got you.
Yeah.
So now let's go reverse on the other side. If you could be remembered for one thing in the industry, the two of you. So Victor first, what would you like that to be?
To be remembered, I would love to be remembered as for my natural hairlines and the symmetric balance and symmetry on my hairline, because that have given me the opportunity to target a lot of people from different age groups. I've done kids that are 18 years old all the way up to 80 years old. I've done 80 years old SMP.
Awesome.
And I'm able to pretty much target everybody. Not everybody needs to have a barbershop edge of look.
In New York, everybody has to have it.
It's a sign.
I know it's true.
It's a signature.
I know it's.
Tell you something. I've had 67-year-old men come in here and they point at the wall, and I talk to them. I'll be like, "Listen, we could give you something a little, more age appropriate." They go, "See that guy right there? That's what I want."
That's what I want.
Hey, you got it, boss. You got it. No, I get what you're saying. It's the natural hairline it's more versatile and it's more appealing to a larger group.
Absolutely.
Even with the defined hairlines, you can still kind of make them look, a little broken.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do that. I don't do I don't make it look like it's a magic marker. But listen, I'm not hating on that because that's what
someone said shoe polish, like a shoe polish.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Efren, man? What would you like to be known or remembered for in the industry, aside from that sexy leather jacket you're wearing?
That's funny. All right, man. So I'll take that comment. So actually, I want to be remembered, someone that, an artist or some educator or somebody that actually helps out, other SMP artists that are upcoming, or artists that are been there for a long time, and helping clients out. So that's something I want to kind of be. People always like, hey, why do you go live? Why do you help people out? Like, why do you share all the games and stuff? I mean, that's just the way I am. I think that everybody should, know, what they can do to make it better if you really care about SMP.
Yeah, for sure. Super noble of you, bro.
And then also too, like, educating people and helping them, like, like double down on Victor said, be remembered to draw those symmetrical hairlines with, symmetry, balance, making sure that it fits the actual person, not that they're going to turn around and it's just come down their eyebrow,
the 2-inch forehead.
Yeah.
So
that's the big one.
What are the tools that you're using right now, Efren? What kind of machines? What are your go-to needles? The pigment? Give me the sauce, bro. Tell me what you're using so I could be just as good as you.
I'll have to send you a care package. So actually, I actually have some of the stuff right here. So I actually have what I'm using right now. I'm actually using more like a pen size. So it's a little bit more. You could say, if you hold it in your hand, it's pretty small. It's a pretty small piece.
So that's evolution, and that's evolution. This is your guys' machine, right? This is something you got. Okay,
yeah, we just actually haven't even launched it yet. So we have it coming out. So you actually adjust the depth right here on the top.
Okay.
You can take a battery pack or the cable, and that's what I use now. I mean, before that, I used a different one. I used the Cheyenne, the old school Cheyenne hog pin. And
L-shaped one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have a couple of pieces. Yeah, I also have the one I started with actually was the bishop pin, the wand.
One, got you.
Yeah, those are my collection right there too. I you know, once in a while I have those on backup too, or use them.
And what
And
about
then
needles?
for needles right now, I use man all sorts of needles, to be honest. I use the Bishop ones, I use the FYTs, just about anything. Man, even I've been doing it for a while, so I've used every one point needles. I actually started doing also when I started doing SMP, I was actually doing with the 1 point needle. I
Yeah,
know the whole wrap before that.
nice.
So right now I'm
You'll
actually
do a
using
whole
the
session
FYT.
with a one. Will you do a whole session, or is it that just to like to break up the hairline?
I actually would do. I would actually do the 10 because there's different gauges, right? So I would say I would do a 10, and then I'll go like with a 6 or 8, a smaller one, and just kind of create a little bit more
Oh, so
like
you
texture.
can create. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
that's old. That's more like old school back in the day.
Yeah. That's how you know it's within like 5 years that
It's been over.
it
Yeah.
came up. Got you. What about you, Victor? I mean, obviously you're using your brand, the Evo, the Evolution machine, but
The Evolution machine, yeah, that's what I use now. That's my go-to. And the good thing about it is because of the grip. So because I used to use the Spirit, that's where I started, and I mean I love the Spirit. I like the weight, but I feel like with this machine is really good. It has a good grip, and it's actually a lot lighter
got
than the Spirit. And the speed and the motor, like I feel like it sounds a lot better than the Spirit, from experience. But yeah, and then I also use the as far as needle goes, I use the FYT because I'm also I'm sponsored by them.
oh, okay.
They
Sponsored by FYT. Got you.
Yeah, so they give me a huge discount for my students and for myself, and that's the needles that I'm using currently.
Got you. How about for pigment? Are you guys using? Do you guys both use the same pigment or no?
Yes, we do. We use the same pigment.
What do you guys use? Is it top secret? You got your own.
So,
Your own? Okay.
It's still. Then we got it right there. It's only kind of more like exclusive. You know, right now we just do it for the students. But hopefully, eventually we'll launch it like public.
Well, lucky for me, I know someone around my area that has that, so I'm gonna have to hit up. I'm gonna have to hit up. Nah. All right, I got you. So you guys, all right. So you guys offer training, right?
Absolutely.
What kind of training do you offer? 3-day masters? What comes with the package?
So in the beginning of
University.
this podcast, we actually talked about our individual company, but we actually, we have our own company as far as the academy goes, and that's Efren and myself, we're the CEOs. It's called A Micro & Co. And so we do a 3-day course, and we also do a 2-day training for masterclass. We also offer shadowing program,
Nice.
and we also offer a apprenticeship program as well.
Gotcha.
And that's for continuing education after the trainee finish our training. And then on top of that, we also we offer lifetime support. And that's one of the things that we like to keep a private group on our Facebook,
Nice.
and also on WhatsApp as well, to be able to give one-on-one attention, or be able to give that information on a group setting that way, because we already taught so many people now. So whenever one student has a question, we like to kind of do it all together. That way they can also learn from it as well.
Gotcha. So everybody learns. So Efren, talk to me about the shadowing program. How does that work? If I'm there, am I allowed to ask you questions or what? Or am I just looking at you do your thing?
Yeah, so if you're doing a shadowing program, I mean, this depends, it goes case by case. But let's say, for example, you want to do shadowing for a day or two, then I will schedule you in. Either you want to bring your model, your client, or it's one of my clients. Then we can, depending on how that works, we'll figure out the pricing. But if it's like a very fresh student, I'm very open with them. So I always have like an open door policy where they're like, you know what, the first couple of days you can come in and shadow me, or vice versa. Some of them don't take advantage of it. They think I'm playing with them. And when they do come, they're like, oh, wow, I thought you were playing around. You're really serious about this. Well, yeah, that's why. I'm like, when you take the 3-day course, like you don't leave with my skill set or Victor's or, anybody's. You got to work, you got to keep practicing every day.
Yeah.
Like keep your muscle memory up. So this way, you become you're going to be probably better than me for sure.
Gotcha.
And so I just kind of like let them watch if it's depending on the client. That's what I said. So if they bring their own client, I'll let them work on them, and I'll kind of help them out, to make it look good.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
that way they can start building their portfolio.
Nice. I like that. So Victor, let me ask you a question, man. You guys have been doing training for some time now. When do you feel is the right time for an artist to branch out and start offering training? Do you think it's by the amount of scalps that he's done, or should it be the years that they've been in the industry?
It's about the amount of clients that they've done, because everybody's journey is different. And I think that you should be able to see how your procedure heals at least 2-3 years from the last session you've done. Once you see that it looks natural and it settles in really nice and blends in with the size, I feel like that's the moment that you could actually do trainings.
So when your overall procedure looks good, nice,
yeah, for longevity.
Got you. So here's a quick question for you guys. Let's think about Victor and Efren, maybe fifth client. What's one tip or trick that you know now that you wish you would have known, say your fourth or fifth client? Just one. Something that was giving you a really hard time when you first started, and then when it was like, oh, I got this.
Understanding the texture of the scalp. Everybody's scalp is different. You're gonna have clients that they're gonna have the scalp that are softer than others. Understanding the Fitzpatrick scale and understanding the needle sizes and the amount of how exposed the needle is and then the speed of the machine. Be able to understand that and just mainly the texture of the skin, be able to know how to actually make the needle break into the scalp. That's the major thing. And I wish I would have known that in certain clients when I first started, because I would have saved me extra sessions.
You two did 4 or 5, I think, 6 sessions.
So for myself, for myself, I think I would say just knowing, what size needle to use on that type of skin or that type of area, that's really big for me. I mean, that's just, if I could, go back, I'm like, that's what I would want to know, because it's a big difference.
Outstanding. Yeah, of course. Listen, sometimes is one little thing. Well, it's not a little thing, but one thing like that all it takes to just change your whole style and technique and make you into a beast of an artist.
If I take a size 4 and just try to do the whole head with one of those, and it's somebody with real leathery thick skin.
Oh man, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Something from 4 hours turn into like more like 8 or 9 or come back.
Yeah, that's when your hand starts looking. It's So check this out, guys. Before we wrap it up, man, let the audience know where they can find you online.
So they can find us. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Efren.
All right, so they can find us at evolution360smp.inc, and that's INK, or Instagram at Efren SMP. And for any training would be amicroandco.com, and that's for any training and anything that has to do with training. That's where that's the go-to place. Products as well.
Got you. And Victor, what about do you have like a separate social media platform for yourself? Where's your work?
Yes, so my Instagram is smp.victor.e, and then my clinic website is scalpmicroproclinic.com and amicroandco.com, which is the same that Efren just mentioned. Right now we currently have trainings going on in Dallas, Texas, Rancho Cucamonga area, LA, and North Carolina. So we have,
and also to add to that one, Washington DC as well.
Exactly.
Nice. Got you. And how about the products? You got the products behind you. Are those products on your website and available for sale, or you just put those back there to tease us?
To tease us. Some of them are teasers, but we have them on the website actually. You can get the machine on there. You have the battery pack. We have the ointments, pigments, and a couple other stuff that we share that we have that you might like that we use.
Got you.
We also have some pre-sales as well on there, but we don't want to mention on here. I'm gonna let the public to go on the website and check it out.
You have some other stuff you said that you want them to just go in and check it out?
Pre-sale, some pre-sale items.
Oh, nice. Okay, there we go. Keeping it suspenseful. All right, I'm with it. I'm going on there right now. As soon as we matter of fact, hold up. Let me see what we got here. Nah, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys, taking out some time again, like I said, coming on the podcast. You guys are awesome. Love what you guys doing for the industry. You guys are dope dudes, on the
Thank you.
podcast, offline, and hopefully we can link up, collaborate, do something dope together. Let's make it happen.
And like I
Thank
said, we
you.
appreciate your time also as well too, and also always listening to your podcast. Man, it's really amazing to be able to connect everybody on one
Thank you.
platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man,
Appreciate that, man.
you're actually shaking the industry, brother. I'm telling you this with all the stuff that you're doing. Yeah, keep doing good work because
I appreciate it, bro. That means a lot to me, man.
yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate
Thank
it, man.
you guys, man. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Scalp Solutions podcast. Until the next time, my good people. Peace.
Beat drop.